tells the entire first is for the terror impact as the executive branch not engage in reprisal over terrorist activities, which prevents from retaliation or terrorist attacks themselves. Iran because it prohibits the military strike on assaults. U.S. drone and also Seoul's intrepid House to use terminate its alliance commitment with Pakistan and Kazakhstan, which sends the same signal to allies that any arms deals Saudi Arabia would have done. There one AC Porter evidence ever since Saudi Arabia is key to send a global signal, and Pakistan and Kazakhstan also commit human rights violations that hurt the U.S.'s image that can cause a moral hazard. So any commitment towards those countries sends an equally strong signal and avoids the link to the net benefit because it's not an arms sales or affect the U.S.'s commitment to Saudi Arabia. Value the counterplan to framing, even if it doesn't solve all the entities. The match should outweigh its small self-suggestion and permutation due, but still links to net benefit because the plan we keep selling our arms sales print to the counterplan is not a competitive and its severance because they would have to sever the process of the plan because the counterplan does not add any arms sales. So next permutation still includes the plan, so it's still links to the net benefit. They say Saudi Arabia is key. They have not heard a single card to substantiate why Saudi Arabia's actions are uniquely key to sending global moral hazard. The Porter evidence that they read about why Saudi Arabia's actions are uniquely reckless doesn't say anything about global spillover and does not make a Saudi Arabia key warrant. And the other Porter evidence that actually mentions spillover says that Pakistan and Kazakhstan also sends a similarly liquor signal to Saudi Arabia that causes the same moral hazard that the counterplan is sufficient. And the argument about how we don't solve was mostly answered in the overview. None of these arguments had any warrant. So at this point, the entire case is zero, and you should just vote as spillover because it risk of its hotlines. The counterplan tells the entire Afghanistan focus on de-escalating U.S. and Iranian intentions to ensure that war never breaks out and establishes a hotline between the U.S. and Iran, and it is empirically but effective at improving relations and diffusing tensions and facilitate a reliable component of communication that can clarify motives and ensure the confidential dialogue free of public criticism, which allows for genuine diplomatic talks. That's the story of it. Second is the settlement. Hotlines completely alter the U.S. strategy in the Middle East and creates a settlement in the Yemen war of Saul's first finished wars and all exit Trump's max specialist in the Middle East out of the breakdown of the military constitution and precision U.S. which all are looked at the economic crisis for Iranian power. They are linked to the United States. Their role of retaliation, the U.S. should use its supply capabilities to establish a strong line of connection with Iran that would serve as a first settlement mechanism with approved a deadly process was to help the joint military conversations nothing else of completion to use for policy towards the Middle East. The counterplan avoids the link to the permitted because it's not an arms sales cross-place sufficiency permit from above. They did not make any permutations, but just in case they did, and I just didn't employ a perm to it, still links to the permitted because the plan we keep selling, but the plan would end arms sales perm to the counterplan that severs because the counterplan does not end arms sales. They say we can't solve for Iran. One is that they did not read a single piece of evidence on this, which we said in a bind. You have to default to us because we actually read evidence. Second is that hotlines are uniquely important to de-escalate U.S. Iranian tensions toward an equal 16. Could a company be escalated to revolt so quickly? No. As there have been a public committee to indirect message about the company conversation with precision remedies regards having all of these conflicts to which could be helpful to have such a heavily to the U.S. and Northern long as the justice to refuse to hold to the U.S. deadly long-term competition to make the military competition more likely misunderstanding of a misunderstanding accidents versus to the experts. I hope the channel stays this. The next argument was about how they can't fiat that Iran agrees to the counterplan. One is that yes, we can. I'll answer international fiat later. Second is that Iran does say yes. The above card that Iran said the Iran foreign minister said that he would rarely disagree to any calls for diplomacy or direct lines of communication, which means that we read the say yes evidence for us, which he said later, and if we want to kick it, then we can just kick this plank, and the theory argument goes away. But international fiat is good. One is this more real world. Other countries influence domestic policy, and say internationally considers all possible agents, status, education, international actors, increase our understanding of the world as it relates to this topic. Three, same fiat justice. They fiat their inherent barrier. We fiat past ours. Four is literature, chesapeake, literature on the U.S. National Service. Because for very few international agents are policy burden prevents us from using any smaller unfeasible argument. Also, if we don't go for a reject the argument, team. Also, I'll answer Kondo here. Kondo is good. One is necklace and unlimited topic literature consistent from the resolution privacy, recency effect, and makes all the topics structurally applies in Kondo levels the playing field, like this innovation to leaders or risk averse. The apps discourages testing new strategies that cyber confidence and best internally to research. Three is strategic thinking makes it depend for both the left and the right, which is key to depend over a wide variety of information that forces them to consider argumentative interaction. No skew. One is diminishing marginal utility, institutional advocacy as less strategic value. Say this is inevitable T violations for your case improves. This the tracer often sex will just add links to the innovation for strategic thinking. The pain. It's a double perm to the counterplan proves that the plan does not end BMDs, which proves that all of this obviously strikes to them. But if not, this is not offense because the plan says air to ground strikes, so I get new answers to be blown up in the one air because it was unpredictable. Yemen. On the ACAP scenario, their evidence doesn't actually say that ACAP has the capabilities, just says that they're interested in an attack. I'll answer the Christian evidence below. Also, ACAP is not a threat. One is that the U.S. has been selling arms to Saudi Arabia for nearly a decade. If ACAP has not grown powerful enough to launch an attack, then they never will, especially since their evidence has not established a brief argument. This is especially true since the only internal link evidence that the 2AC extended is that Saudi Arabia keeps giving ACAP arms, which proves that it is not reverse causal because those arms have already been given to ACAP. There's no reason why the plan we get them back. Second is that ACAP is dying. They dropped the Kendall evidence as warrants A. As week later, leadership is literally non-existent, so which means coordinating large-scale attacks impossible. B is communication challenges. ACAB members are fragmented and counter-recruitment campaign by the UAE and enlisted officials into security forces to dissuade people from joining ACAB. C is empirics proof that they cannot launch large attacks fuller. 18. ACAB, a decreasing number of chain operations to the ability to conduct large systems to mitigate threats, levels of decreasing group's ability, activities of ACAB to lead to the DFT. Always just a series of violent crimes to the ACAB and the Islamic State factors have the increase of substantive evidence to security organization structure. Also, economic decline does not cause conflict. Clearly, distant analysis of 109 distinct diets and concludes that rivalries were twice as likely to terminate during downturns. And there are a couple of warnings that they conceded. One is that crises lead to austerity pressures, which instead leaders to search for ways to cut defense spending. Second is that strategic reassessment at least downplay the seriousness of rivals because economic decline is exponentially more immediate than future conflicts. Three said it incentivizes future cooperation. The world is interconnected, so drawing on allies and trade partners for assistance is key. Research to economic decline proves also that Tonneson evidence is about trade, which means that it doesn't really answer the clarity evidence because our argument is answering the scenario in which oil spikes would decrease the global economy and cause a global recession, but Tonneson is only about trade, so it doesn't really answer that. Also, I'll answer the internal link here. Oil is resilient. There's no impact to shock supporter. 18. Oil is a fundamental access is not determined being the dominant part of the oil market is resilient Western, especially the gold stars of resistance today. Efficiency in North America should this include the spear capacity control of resistance to the Roderick dissipation of the U.S. has the edge to mention the use of the mitigate disruption of the British capacity international energy industry and shipping transfer the volume of intervening which aspects of the oil market spring system was the running report led to rapid adaptation in comment. There is zero reason why arms deals are the linchpin to economic security commitments, true deployments of oil dependency are all causes that could draw the U.S. in. Also, there's no link. If Trump wanted to invade Iran, he'll do it regardless of entrapment. But if their argument is that Trump doesn't want to invade Iran and their argument is right about how Saudi had zero leverage over the U.S., which were arguments that they read on the conditions campaign that we didn't read, that it proves that there's no reason why Trump would say no. Also, entrapment won't happen. They conceded all of the Beckley evidence this warrants. One is empirics. Only 5 of the past 60 alliances caused entanglement, and those entanglements did not escalate. Say this that even in instances where the U.S. acted in accordance with their allies, those actions were only when the U.S.'s interests and their allies' interests were aligned, not because of alliance obligations. 3 said, if anything, alliances restrain the U.S. from going to more wars for their partners to share the burden, which creates more unpredictability and conflicts and causes the U.S. to take on great powers without backup. Also, loopholes selectively between discussions and entanglement of terms of these are linked to limit the scope of the commitment alliances, where the members of the whale room structures limit the commitment obligations, or look to negotiate or versus out of it. Also, entanglements cause alliances not the other way around. But it's favor 16. U.S. still finds itself criminals to find it, given the recent formal alliance what happened during the World Wars. Alliances are across the entanglement overseas, entanglement across alliances. Also, lastly, they have conceded that Saudi-Iran war is impossible to leverage, and key evidence is that Saudi Arabia is more likely to turn inwards and ignore Iranian provocation during tensions. Prefer it. Our evidence actually makes a statement based on MBS's actions. Also, Iran has domestic instability with major protests that push the government to prioritize internal stability over foreign policy, so escalation is unlikely. This is proven when Iran recently shot at Saudi Arabia's oil silos. That would have been the perfect example for the two countries to go to war, but the reason that they did not is because there are domestic factors that constrain them from doing so. The last argument I'm going to go for is that there's no internal link to this Russian war impact that the 1A might blow at this. You should hold the line here because the 1AC has not read a single internal link as to why Saudi Arabia is key to a global moral hazard. The 2AC argument response was not sufficient because it did not read every piece of evidence or establish a reason for why Saudi risk-taking is uniquely key to cause the moral hazard from happening.